fucking right with the.
But what the hell, boy?
What's that?
Oh, he's leaving. No. Sheesh.
Hill Kings Podcast.
But what the hell, boy?
What's up, fellas
I had to get a last minute hat grab.
and ladies? Because your hair looked like shit, right?
It did, nephews. My hair did look
Yeah.
bad.
Welcome back to the Hill Kings podcast for any of
Mhm.
the audio listeners. Chris is wearing a hat now.
I've got a hat.
He was not at the start of the theme song, and now he is.
And
So that's what's new with you.
Audio listeners, Brad might have a hat.
I might not have pants.
Dude, I had to grab my American ostrich farm hat. I'm so
Yes.
inspired 'cause I
Don't
saw
forget to use code Hill Kings at checkout.
Saw some stritches today. Feeling
You did?
inspired. Yeah, we went to the zoo.
Wow.
Mhm.
And they had ostriches
They
there.
did, dude. One of them was just vibing up by the fence. It was sitting, chilling, and there's like they have little speakers at the zoo, along the walkway that make noise. And this one was literally just
They
vibing
do?
out by the little
Why?
speaker rock ambiance. I don't know. A pleasant experience. Shit,
Uh,
dude. I don't know.
I
Music
didn't
is
know
great.
that. All
Brad
right.
hates music in public.
Yes. Famously. Yeah.
Mhm. So I had to put on this ostrich hat because I was inspired by the ostrich that I saw today vibing.
Nice.
What
We
did
love a
you see
vibing
today?
ostrich. I didn't see much today.
Speaking of vibing ostrich, use promo code HillKingsPodcast at adamandeve.com. 69% off.
What?
We're back. We're back, nephews.
We're so back. We're so back. What are we here to talk about this week?
Dude, we're here to talk about season 2, episode 21, Life in the Fast Lane, Bobby's Saga.
Bobby's Saga. What'd you think of
Bobby's
this
Saga.
one?
This was a good one, man. I enjoyed it.
It was fun. I love a
it's pretty-
Bobby episode.
It's pretty
Always.
straightforward, not a very complicated episode. We'll get into it, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, there's still like a decent amount going on too. You got the Boomhauer stuff, real funny stuff with the Alley boys in this one.
Yes, there's a lot of nice parallel storyline, a lot of good imagery. But yeah, we'll get into it for sure.
We'll get into it, but you know what we gotta do first. We gotta hit him with this week in Arlen.
This week in Arlen.
There we go. Everyone knows about it. This is the segment of the show where we go through what was going on in the world at the time of this episode's airing. This episode aired on May 13th, 1998. And you know how we like to kick it off, Chris? With a peek at the TV guide. Anything standing out to your lovely little eyes
First off,
this week?
Babe is
Pig in the
ABC
City
Family.
or nah?
No.
No, just normal Babe.
OG.
This movie I remember fucking loving when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. I loved
Did you also loved Babe?
I loved
And then
Babe.
Pig in the City was obviously a banger as well.
Yeah, dude. Pig and pig adjacent things. Growing up, my mom loved pigs, and our kitchen was kind of pig and farm themed a little bit.
It's awesome. It's very
Also,
Oklahoma.
Speaking of pigs, I saw today at the zoo again.
Zoo
dude,
alert. Zoo alert, nephews.
Yeah, dude. Another zoo story coming at you. Saw this in Red River Hog. And so we're at the zoo with my buddy Cody, and they're changing their baby. I'm looking at this hog, right? And some other dude walks up, and I'm like, yo, Cody, this nice hog over here. It wasn't Cody.
Oh.
So,
and then you were also had your dick out.
Yeah. So then I had to be like, oh man, sorry, you look like a very standard white guy. I thought you were my friend Cody.
And that's how Chris got arrested at the zoo. So Babe was on.
Mhm.
Uh, Notice the title of this episode of The Simpsons.
Ooh.
It's called King of the Hill.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
Whoa.
it was a super mid episode. But this reminded me that I missed something earlier in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Seeing this episode and being like, wait, wasn't there a crossover where the people like Hank from King of the Hill was just like in an episode of The Simpsons? And I
Yeah.
looked it up, and that episode was this season.
Whoa.
It was the episode where Bart joins the football team that I talked about like weeks and weeks
Hmm.
and weeks ago. That was one
Interesting.
of the episodes that I didn't go back and rewatch. While they're at one of the football games, they cut over to Hank, Peggy, and Luann,
Whoa.
and they make like some sort of reference about how like everyone here looks weird or something.
That's so strange.
But yeah,
I
this
I
episode of The Simpsons was just called King of the Hill. It's about Homer climbing a mountain. It's mid,
Interesting.
but yeah,
I did not know that. Good
yeah.
catch.
There was a King of the Hill crossover on The Simpsons this season. And that'll do
That's
it for Simpsons Corner. Anything else standing out here, brother?
um let's see, Waiting to Exhale on ABC right after. Also,
Yep.
that's gonna tug at your heartstrings.
You love to see it. We also had Mario Puzo's The Last Don Tuzo.
Part part one of two though.
Yeah, it was a TV miniseries based on the book by Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather, which was
Hmm.
also a book. So
Okay.
this is basically The Godfather, but for television.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it is pretty highly regarded, it seems,
I
based on my
love
research.
I love that name. Mario Puzo. That's
Mario
it's
Puzo's The
fantastic.
Last Don Tuzo.
The X-Files, their episode name sounds nice and spooky. The Pine Bluff variant.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I keep meaning to watch The X-Files and still never have. But
Um, All Right Already is back, but they are running a repeat.
yeah, I think they might be done at this point.
Well, Sister Sister is on again, which I'm always happy to see.
Shoeless. Was there just something about feet in the late 90s?
You know, we're gonna get a foot joke in this
We
episode,
do,
big
yeah,
dog.
we do get a foot
Mhm.
joke in this one.
That's all that's standing
Yeah.
out to me, man.
Yeah. They're also this week just kind of airing elsewhere TV guide style. We do have another inappropriate relationship on Seinfeld, the episode called The Nanny, which is
Mm,
about Jerry starting to date his new maid, or it's called The Maid, I guess.
mm,
Um, but yeah, it's about Jerry having an inappropriate relationship with someone who he is employing. So shout out Jerry
mm.
Seinfeld.
Hey,
You freak.
hey.
Uh, also airing this week was an episode of a show called Two Guys and a Girl. And I have no recollection of this show, but Ryan Reynolds was in a sitcom in the 90s that aired for
Wow.
4 seasons. Did you know that?
Whoa.
It had
Whoa.
81 episodes.
What?
Yeah, I noticed it on the TV guide and I was like, what is this show? It was like every title of it was about pizza, and it's about like some friends. Also on this cover art right here,
Whoa.
more than two guys and a girl, right? Why
Yes,
is it called
definitely,
that?
definitely more than two guys and a girl. And
Yeah.
also, I have seen two guys and a girl on the internet in a couple
No,
different
that's two
places.
girls, one cup, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh,
But what the hell, boy?
not even touching it.
But yeah, this had a lot of episodes and aired for quite a long time. And
That's
Ryan Reynolds had frosted tips. So
that's very believable.
yeah, shout out. Moving on, we also had the number two movie in the country this week is it's just called Woo, starring Jada Pinkett Smith.
I've
It
never
has a
seen this.
10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the blurb here is Woo is a woman in control of her world. She is smart, self-confident, sophisticated, and snarky, and she doesn't have trouble attracting members of the opposite sex.
Of course.
It doesn't really say what the fuck the movie's about. She meets a paralegal.
Hmm.
Yeah, seems like people fucking hate this movie. So
Okay, interesting. Jada
more,
Pinkett.
more importantly, the week before we had a week in between here. He Got Game came out.
Mm,
Denzel. This was
fu-
the number one in the country
nice.
this week as well. So
Damn, look at that
Have
sick
you seen
mustache.
this movie? This movie rocks.
I think I have seen He Got Game in school. Is this a school type
What?
movie?
Oh, yeah,
No, it's not.
Oklahoma school system. No, probably.
Okay, no, I'm not exactly recalling Denzel's basketball movie.
Yeah, probably not a lot to learn from that one, but I had a teacher that would just show us Transformers all the time, and
What's the
he
one
gave
where
us a
he's a
quiz.
coach?
Are you
Denzel
thinking
is
of
in a
Coach
coach.
Carter?
Yes.
That's Samuel L. Jackson, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Also, why would you watch that at school? Also, that's just a sports movie, man.
Probably had a sub that day. I don't know. We had
Yeah.
those elective classes, you know.
Yeah. I had a teacher
So,
that would show us Transformers, and I guess he had to give a certain amount of quizzes every year, and he never actually taught anything. He was a football coach. Shout out.
hmm
I probably won't say his actual name, but he's a fucking dickhead. And he gave us a quiz once that was about Transformers, and one of the questions was, "What's the name of the hot chick?"
No way.
Yeah, that was the actual quiz that I had in school.
So what was the
Oklahoma
name?
school
What was the
system.
name of the hot chick?
It was Megan Fox, dude.
It was Megan Fox. Okay,
Yeah.
we definitely would not have seen this in school. This is rated R. No, I don't
Oh.
think I have seen this.
Hell yeah. All right.
There is
Yeah, I was gonna say a
it,
little, it
it
seems a little adult. Moving on, it was also Stevie Wonder's 48th birthday on this day.
wow. You love to see
So
it.
shout out to Steven. Well, oh, Chris. Hold on,
Just
let me find my
yeah.
boo.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. It was also
Go ahead.
Dennis Rodman's 37th B-Day
Nice. Hell yeah.
on
Whoa,
this
wait.
day.
Okay, they're 11 years apart. For a second, I was like, wait, Stevie
No,
Wonder is 38?
yeah, 48 and 37 are famously 11 years apart. Yeah.
Yes.
We had a few other famous birthdays. It was a heavy birthday day, but a lot of shitty people were also born on this day.
Mm-hmm.
We had Lena Dunham, who's not everyone's favorite, Morgan
Mm-hmm.
Wallen, famous dickhead,
Chair thrower.
chair thrower, and N-word sayer.
Yes.
And then I actually don't remember who this third person was. If I'm being completely honest, I was a little high when I made this last
Is that
night, and I
it's
don't
not
know who that is.
it's not in the notes. You didn't put
It's
it in
not
the
in the
notes.
notes. Yeah, I didn't put, didn't
Who's
put
that?
that in the notes.
Kenneth, is that one of the cult leaders or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, it's the Jonestown Massacre guy.
Yeah, that's that
Shout
guy.
out. Yeah.
What is his name?
Yeah.
What is his
And then I
name?
went on a rabbit hole. Is it Jim Jones?
Yeah, that might be Jim Jones right there. That might be him.
Yeah. I also went on a rabbit hole about Pokhran 2. Do you know about that? A little
No, but
geopolitical news to end it
bef-
off.
before you give me that lesson, do you think that Morgan Wallen would have been able to know the difference between that Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman movie or Samuel L. Jackson
Well,
movie?
we know that you couldn't.
I know I want to know if he can or can't. I'm trying to judge myself. Um, tell me what happened in geopolitics.
I think you're in the clear on that, my friend. So this was a famous nuclear weapons test that took place in India that
Mm.
kind of caused a lot of stir and had
Mm.
a lot of geopolitical repercussions even to this day,
Ooh.
including a lot of sanctions from Western countries like the United
Mm-hmm.
States and England. Uh, so yeah, basically India was fucking around testing nuclear weapons, also
Mm-hmm.
resulted in a lot of like radiation poisoning from people in this area and like birth defects and crazy shit. But a big
That's
part
what
of the reason
happens
that
when you test nukes. Yes.
yeah, a big part of the reason that India has been held back economically in the way that it has
Mm.
is because they were fucking around, and the US is like, we're the only ones who are allowed to do that shit. So I went down a
Interesting.
little bit of a rabbit hole. But this testing was done on this day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pokemon 2.
So while King of the Hill was airing, India was testing around with a little bit of uranium, and that'll do it. For me. Let's get into this flippin' sode, my guy.
I will say it is very 90s to fuck around with uranium.
Yeah.
Did you ever fuck around with uranium, Brad?
Yeah, I was always kind of in the backyard, kind of
Is
fucking
that,
around with uranium
you think that's why
and
you're
Uranus.
colorblind?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, that was one of the various birth defects
Oh, the
that I had.
uranium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not here to talk about looking at uranium. We are here to talk about season 2, episode 21, Life in the Past Lane, Bobby's Saga. Brad mentioned already this one aired on 5/3/98, and your blurb is
513,
5
13, my
13
friend.
is
Yes.
I wrote something down wrong. Sorry. Oh gosh. Already off to a bad start after
Wow,
the
that's okay.
Denzel Washington thing.
Oh wait,
Here's
no, it was 5-3. I was wrong.
yeah, fuck you.
I had the wrong date on my presentation, and for that I will prostrate and prostate myself.
Score one for me. Here's your blurb. Bobby gets a job handing out snacks and drinks at a local racetrack, but when he reports that his boss has something off about him mentally, Hank ignores the problem. Bobby's safety is increasingly put at risk as a result. Um,
It really is.
it really is. It's a
Bob almost dies in this one.
Bob almost dies in this one. This one pretty good telling of what's going to happen here, but there's a lot of fun stuff to unpack. So we'll get into it. Your directors here are Wes Archer, of course, and Adam Kuhlman. We have seen the Cool Man before.
Mr. Cool.
Yes, he's involved in a lot of animation departments and art departments. One thing I discovered going through this is Adam Kuhlman was involved in a movie called Fire and Ice. Have you heard about Fire and Ice?
Cool.
I
Yeah.
can't say that I have, no.
It's a fantasy movie from 1983, and it's a hand drawn fantasy animation. It's done by Ralph Bakshi, who's the same guy that did the Lord of the Rings
Oh, this looks really
animations.
familiar.
Mm-hmm. It should, because
Huh.
it's the same guy that did the Lord of the Rings animation. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Adam Kuhlman worked on this other film, Fire and Ice, that Bakshi did. I just thought that was an interesting connection.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool, man.
Your writers here, of course, are Judge Daniels, and this is Altshuler and Crinsley on this. We've talked about Altshuler and Crinsley before. They are a writing duo, responsible for a lot of other projects with Mike Judge, including like Silicon Valley and Blades of Glory. So we've talked about Altshuler and Crinsley before, but cold open here. It's been a while since we've had a cold open.
I know, it's hot.
The cold open is hot though. It's Boomhauer pulls up to a stoplight, makes eyes at another sports car next to him.
The most cop-looking motherfucker that they possibly could have drawn.
Yes.
How did he not know?
Boomhauer races this guy, beats him, and then this cop puts the little siren up on his roof and pulls him over.
Yeah, it turns out he was just looking for people who were good at drag racing, though.
Yeah, he totally baited Boomhauer. This guy just wanted to race and get away with it, and writes him a ticket. But this policeman is going to be our setup for the rest of the episode. He's going to deliver the main hook. He's going to say, "Do you know why? Do you know why I pulled you over?" And he says it's because you beat me. He says he wants a rematch, but do it at the amateur racetrack because the winner of the amateur race gets to drive the pace car for the NASCAR race.
It's a dream.
Mike Judge as the cop here really does a bunch of lore dump expose right at the top here in about
He's
4
just like, hey,
sentences.
this is what this episode's going to be about real quick.
Boomhauer in his mumbling, I think, says that he's like on his way to the hospital.
Yeah, his wife is Dangle in labor. Dangle Lama's partner.
Yeah, loved that.
I love that the cop like lets him. He was like, "I'll let this slide this time," and then he just breaks his taillight.
He breaks his taillight.
Classic cop.
Yeah, kind of not cool stuff that he did there, but at least he's encouraging safe drag racing at the local racetrack instead of on the streets. That shit's dangerous, kids.
And we all know that Chris loves to defend cops.
So then we get the theme song. Theme song. We're in the garage. They're tuning up Boomhauer's ride. fuel mixture's not right. The flames up high. Dale lights his cigarette on the burning engine, turns his hat
Yeah.
backwards. Bill can't get out of the window. Um, Very funny.
Yeah, he's making it clean, baby.
Um, Hank is gonna give Bill a sick burn. He's like, "You'd be a regular Dale Earnhardt if you could make it around the track without stopping for a ding dong."
Yeah. I
Just
love how they're just kind of shitting on uh Jeff Gordon too
yes, that I
for
was
like
gonna
being a
say.
nepo baby. I don't really know anything about NASCAR, but I think I recognize that Jeff Gordon is pretty widely hated on, and I do remember him being in commercials all the goddamn time
Mm-hmm.
around
Yes,
this time.
there's going to be a theme, a running theme of Dale Earnhardt to Jeff Gordon comparisons in this episode.
Yep.
If you guys will recall our episode with Nelson from What's Left of the South, some of you
Yep.
will recall, maybe about 80. Um, we talked about Dale Earnhardt a little bit in that episode, I believe. But yeah, the Dale versus Jeff Gordon in the late '90s was pumping strong. This is when
Yeah.
NASCAR was kind of in its second kind of third wave
Yeah.
rebranding.
I'd be curious to hear Nelson's opinion on Earnhardt versus Gordon. Because
So
apparently Jeff Gordon's a nepo baby.
uh, yeah,
Hank was shitting on him for that.
Earnhardt's a man of the people.
Okay.
You gotta know
Yeah.
that Earnhardt is a man of the people.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jeff Gordon came in with some, there's some daddy's money. They're making jokes about Jeff Gordon here. They could have made it if my daddy bought me a car and everything like that. So
But Hank's dad sold him a car and it was a lemon.
yes, that was my favorite thing in this
Yeah.
opening act is that Hank had to buy a car from his dad and he'd sold him a bad
It's,
car.
it's so cotton. So
Even
and he's
whenever
like, and it taught me a very Hank is a huge like bitch pushover in this entire episode.
mm-hmm.
He's
Yes.
just like let people walk all over you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it
Yes.
taught me a very valuable lesson. And that is count number one of Hank being a bitch in this episode.
Yes. Hank is definitely this is one of those episodes where Hank's a rather he's kind of oafish in the ways that he's kind of the bad guy in this episode. Hank's
Yeah.
gonna be our bad there's another bad guy, but
Yeah. He's like a
Hank's also the
side.
bad guy.
He's a bad decision, a bad advice guy.
Mm-hmm. He definitely is. Um Bill says that Bill is sad because he wishes his dad had bought him a race car instead of corrective shoes that all the girls laughed
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
I thought was very sad.
And then Bobby shows up just kind of expecting a handout, which is
Mm-hmm.
perfect after
Bobby,
hearing about the like nepo baby dad buying him a car situation.
Bobby comes up with a check that he wants Hank to sign for a new BMX bike.
Oh, it's like $175. God, in today's
Yeah.
economy,
In the
Jesus.
90s, my God,
Wow.
must have been a super nice bike. Um, yeah, Hank is trying to explain to Bobby that, just because you have these doesn't mean you have money. He says that I, and to a lesser extent, your mother work very hard for this money. Little
That's so good.
shade thrown at Peggy, but Hank is like, yeah, do you want to end up like Jeff Gordon? And Bobby's like, I like Jeff Gordon. He's handsome.
And he's like, oh, he says these people are gonna worry you're not right.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
Dale and Boomhauer in the background, just like kind of look away. Yeah, people are gonna
Yeah.
think you're not right. Um,
Also true to the time.
Certainly. We cut back into the house. We get a visual cut over of some flies like stuck in a fly trap. Did you notice that? Was the
Yeah.
scene transition?
Yeah.
Just a little interesting transition there. Yeah, so we see the flies on the fly trap, and then Peggy is agreeing. She's like, "Well, Jeff Gordon is very handsome, and he's a champion."
Do we think there's
Luann,
a significance to the flies on the fly trap? I was
mm,
trying to figure out like why include that, you know?
maybe, but I also thought it could have been a visual thing.
Yeah, but
Um,
for why?
yeah, I don't know.
If anyone can decode that in the comments,
Let's think about it. We'll
get your
continue to
conspiracy hats on,
ponder
nephews.
that question throughout the episode, nephews. What do the flies represent?
Yeah.
Luann is going to chime in that he's the world's fastest Christian.
Yeah, and both her and Peggy think that he's hot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Um,
I didn't really look up a picture of him.
I
I'll
mean,
put one up on screen.
they put him in commercials, but Hank is gonna ask Bobby, if he knows. He's gonna quiz him on the value of a dollar. He's gonna ask, how much do you think those pants you're wearing are, Bobby?
I
Bobby's
don't
like,
know, $100.
they're pretty nice. I don't know, $100.
Which nowadays,
Yeah,
good pair of short pants.
cotton short pants.
Jeff Gordon can confirm a looker.
Smoky,
He's a good looking dude.
handsome fella.
Yeah.
Um, Hank is like, Bobby, what's the average salary? What do you think is the average salary? And Bobby immediately goes to comedy movies, and he's like, well, Drew Carey gets 20 million a
Whoa,
movie.
Jim Carrey. Jim
Jim Carrey.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Very important distinction there.
Jim Carrey gets 20 million a movie, Bobby says, and Hank is like, see, he doesn't even know the difference between 20 million and 20,000, which I
Is
don't think.
that how much Hank makes?
I looked up what the like average salary would have been kind of in Texas at that time, and it's actually about 32,000.
Yeah, and considering how much of a doormat Hank is,
Mm-hmm.
he's basically like, we'll get into it all later, but like let your employer walk all over you
Yeah,
and expect nothing.
Hank still makes 20,000 a year probably. Yeah, even in the 90s. Um. So yeah, we're still Oh yeah, Hank tells Bobby about Buck Strickland and how he, built his empire up from the ground, and Hank's gonna go, Bobby, here's a dollar. Let's see what you turn this into.
This is maybe my favorite thing that has happened all season.
Yeah, immediately cut to, and Bobby is on the porch hunched over. We see the Hills walk up to him, and they're like, Bobby, what'd you get with your dollar? And he's just absolutely barrel on a burrito.
Well, Hank says something like, "Are you doing something like is he?" I don't remember what Hank says there, but he assumes that Bobby is doing something productive.
Mhm.
But he is just hunched out, housing a burrito, which was me literally like an hour and a half ago. I was like,
Absolutely fucking
I kind
starved
of
for
want to
that.
get this tattooed on me. Bobby eating the burrito.
Get to eat the burrito. Fatty burrito.
Big fatty veggie nar burrito. He got this and a quesadilla for $1. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Whoa. 90s prices.
Yeah, jeez.
But the BMX bikes still cost like $1.75.
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
know.
low for a bike, my guy.
Oh, I'm not in the bike market.
Dude, a good bike, I'm not either, but like a decent bike is gonna run you like a grando at least.
Wow.
Yeah. If not, I
Uh
mean, people spend way more than that. So,
yeah, so Bob is Bob's housing it, and Hank is, well, Peggy is like, looks like your plan backfired and you spoiled his appetite. So Peggy gets on to Hank. Hank is like, I think it's time Bobby had a job. Peggy is gonna come to Bobby's defense here and be like, it's his vacation. He should be doing boyish things. So this is summer break. We're led to assume.
yeah.
He should be
And
doing boyish
she
things,
says that maybe he can go to cooking school,
which Bobby really likes.
which I don't know if you've also heard the recent news about the reboot,
I have.
but Bobby is apparently going to be a chef at a fusion restaurant in
Mm-hmm.
Dallas.
Yes.
So, cooking school, Bobby ends
St-
up being a chef.
Still on the table. Well, Bobby is interested in cooking school, and Hank is going to say, Sunday, son, I'm going to die, and then you can go to cooking school.
So, is Hank going to be dead in the reboot?
Ooh, ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Jesus, that'd be terrible. It's just like, then it's like the stepdad character. Got a
Ooh, yeah.
different flavored Hank Hill
Uh,
stepdad.
Hank Smith.
Even better, Bill steps in.
Oh, that would never happen.
So yeah, Hank is like, yeah, you need a job. You're coming with me. The truck pulls up to go to the racetrack. He said, you're coming to the racetrack. So we're over at the racetrack, and the boys are all, Boomhauer's signing up, and the guys are all admiring the pace car. Hank is like, Bobby, what do you think? And Bobby is talking. He's like, the rope is soft and pretty.
Yeah, the velvet rope.
The velvet rope. Bobby's
Doesn't
just
give a shit about the car.
touching the rope. And Hank's like, what about the car? And Bobby's like, "What's a pace car?" It's what Boomhauer gets to drive. Um, we get a let's see, what do I have here? I can't read my own handwriting.
A soda kid comes over.
Mm-hmm.
My notes say that he comes over looking like the crushing defeat of capitalism. And he's just trying to sell them some soda.
Nice.
And Hank is like, this is what you ought to be doing, Bob.
Yeah. He admires the work ethic of the kid, and the Hank is like, that's some fine hustle you've got there. And the kid's like, I can sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
That's
And
what my
Hank
boss
appreciates that.
that's what my boss, Mr. Witcher, says. Billy, this kid here, we got a little bit of a guest voice here.
Oh,
This is not going to be our main guest star for the episode. But we do have a guest voice here. Voicing Billy is Tara Strong. Strong. Her last name,
Tara Strugstrong.
I think at the time was Sharendorf. I wasn't paying much attention when I was writing my notes. I believe her last name is now Strong, or was Sharendorf. Look at me being so bad with my references today.
Can't
But
find anyone named Tara Strug.
it must be
Oh, it's
Sharendorf.
Tara Strong.
Strong.
Famous
Wow.
voice actor Tara Strong.
Yes. I
Yeah.
was going to say, wow, look at me. She's so famous and I'm absolutely butchering her last name. Sorry, Tara. Um, she is a legendary voice actor. She does Bubbles from Powerpuff
Ah.
Girls. She does Timmy Turner
Oh shit.
from The Fairly Odd Parents. She does Raven from Teen
She does
Titans.
Dill from Rugrats, my dude.
She does everybody. She does Harley Quinn in a bunch of the animated Batmans. So um, I'm just out here disrespecting the queen.
The absolute legend.
She was also Princess Clara in Drawn Together. Did you ever watch that animated adult cartoon?
No.
It's a cartoon from 2004 to 2007.
Wait, it's
Adam,
not the one that's like a fake reality TV show, is it?
it is. That's the
Oh
one.
shit. Yeah, I kind
Hmm.
of hated that show.
Oh yeah. Well, she does a voice on there. She does the princess character,
Oh,
if you
sorry,
recall her.
Tara.
So she plays Billy. One other thing here in this scene, some more Jeff Gordon digs here. Hank is like, this pace car is what Boomhauer gets to drive, on a racetrack that, Dale Earnhardt is going to be on, or, in
Mm-hmm.
your case, Jeff Gordon. And Bobby's like, Jeff Gordon's also a race car driver? I thought he was just a cereal box model.
A cereal box model is so funny.
Nice dig. But then, yeah, this is where we get our first appearance, I believe, of Jimmy Witcher.
Is he a regular on the show? He
Jimmy
seemed
Witcher will
really
pop in.
familiar to me. Quickly,
Deleted!
when Bobby is, or
Oh,
when Hank is kind of lecturing Bobby here, there's an additional line where Hank mentions that as a kid, he was a milk truck driver's helper,
oh,
and that's what he did when he was Bobby's age.
wow, that's kind of
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Well, it would have been funnier, I guess, if we're rewriting deleted scenes, if you would have been like a propane salesman assistant and like they lore dropped that, like, that's how
He's
he
always
became
been
in.
in, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, why is he so into propane?
who knows? But it's a deleted scene anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I can make up stuff. But yeah, this is, I believe, the first appearance of Jimmy Witcher. He's going to come along, I think, whenever we need oafish people late in later seasons. But he's going to be voiced by David Herman, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hilarious voice.
Yeah, very funny voice.
Kind of sounds
He,
like a Kennedy a little bit,
yeah,
like a dumbed down Kennedy.
he's like always kind of half yelling and talking, where he's like, "You work. The people are hot and dry. They need cold and wet. You're thirsty. You work hard. You make money." He's like talks very fast, and kind of like Kevin from The Office does whenever he
Mm-hmm.
does the short talking. Like, why use lot word when few word. Yeah, that's Jimmy
Yeah.
Witcher.
Words to live
Um,
by.
so Hank gets Bobby a job.
Yeah,
But
and the kid who brought them there, we find out, was only saying because his dad said he couldn't quit unless he found someone to replace him.
yes,
And he
Bobby,
hops a fence
he
and
climbs
runs away.
a tall ass fence too.
Yeah.
That fence was tall.
Was
Um,
that kid being kidnapped?
it was a real real shitty job apparently,
Yeah.
is what we're led to believe. But yeah, Bobby is like, my dad says I could be the next Buck Strickland, and the kid is like, I don't know who the hell that is.
But I'm getting the fuck out of here, kid. Good luck.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get commercial break on Bobby's concerned face. So we're out front of the house. Peggy is taking a photo for the first day of work. She says, Bobby, you look like a chef's assistant or something like that.
Yeah. I love
Um,
that Hank is like, don't smile, Bobby. You're a
mhm.
working man now.
Don't smile, you're a working man. Yeah, I have
No
that
more
written down.
joy, bud.
No, time for taxes. So we cut over to the track. The track, you can hear Johnny Hardwick doing the announcer voice.
Yeah.
Um, Bobby is making the rounds. He's like peanuts, soda. The guy wants some peanuts. He just brains his lady in the face with some
Yeah.
peanuts.
And
Doesn't
immediately
even
has his spirit crushed.
fucks up the peanut throw. There's a guy all the way at the top that's like soda. Um, and then we get a nice 10-minute animation sequence of Bob climbing the stairs, and it's hot and the sun's beaming down and he
Yeah, man.
trips and
Summer in Texas to be outside on the
con-
like
concrete. Ugh.
concrete. Ugh. No,
He
thank you.
he puts the tray down and makes it all the way up to the top, and the guy's like, is that regular? Or he's like, is that diet? And he's like, it's regular. And he's like, well, can't have it.
Yep. And then all
Just
of Bobby's soda is gone.
yes, he comes back down and it's all gone. You could see that joke coming from a mile away, but I
Yeah.
still loved it so
It was,
much. It
yeah,
was very good.
well
It
executed.
it reminded me of SpongeBob in the pizza episode in early
Oh, yeah.
seasons where they go through all the trouble to deliver the crusty pizza, and
Classic, dude.
they get there.
Should we just talk about that episode?
Yeah, dude. And the guy's like, where's my drink? My Diet Dr. Kelp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we cut
That's
back to the
also
Krusty Krab.
one more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh, that's also the episode with the famous writing of the
The
boulder.
boulder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Legendary.
Yeah,
Fuck.
legendary app.
I love
Uh,
that episode.
can we make this a SpongeBob podcast?
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Um, but yeah, that punchline
If
of
anyone
him,
wants it, we'll do a SpongeBob episode.
absolutely. Um, I just loved the punchline of him getting to the top and then the guy not wanting the soda was so
Yeah.
good.
Great.
Um, let's see what else here. Yeah, he comes back into the office and Jimmy is like, "Hey, you want a hot dog?" And Bobby's like, "Yeah." And then he charges him for the hot dog
And the stolen drinks and calls him the
Mhm.
wrong name.
and the money you owe me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So a
Mr.
typical
Wisher's
boss.
he's running a racket. He's really screwing Bobby here. Is
Immediately.
the setup. We cut over to the alley and the garage where the guys are doing pit stop practice. Dale gets his sleeve bolted to the tire. So the guys are getting ready. They've been working on the car. They're doing the pit stop practice now. So the guys are getting ready for Boomhauer's big race.
Yeah, Dale immediately sucks at it.
Deleted!
Also, we have a couple of extra lines here where the guys are strategizing how to cut weight, and Dale, Hank and Bill both give like reasonable suggestions, and Dale is like, we could try removing the windshield.
Nice.
I thought that was good.
Well, we're already setting up here early that Dale is incompetent. So
Yeah.
that scene would have made sense if they left it in because the weight notion will come back up here in just a
Yes,
little
it
bit.
sure will. It sure will, brother.
We cut back over to the track, and this might have been my favorite visual of the episode. We cut back to Bobby opens the office door to Jimmy Witcher in the hot dog costume with what looked like without pants on, watching TV.
I
Jimmy's
didn't
leg
catch
is
the no
just
pants.
I couldn't tell if it was fully no pan or if it was non-animated. Put the screen grab up. But this was my favorite visual was Jimmy in the office with the hot dog costume on. It's very funny. Um, yeah, the job is totally a scam at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Bobby's
it
getting
seems like
ripped
he's
off.
charging Bobby more
Hmm.
than he's actually paying him. And he
Yes, he
doesn't know how
is.
to do basic math. Like in
No,
this
he
scene,
doesn't.
he I think he just gets like an error message.
Yep.
He says
It's
it's like
math.
8880
You owe me 88,000.
88,880.
Yeah,
I
he
thought it
can't
was
even
gonna be
use his
like
calculator.
boob, but that is not boob.
That's what I was hoping for, dude.
Yeah,
Whenever I like paused and I was like, wait, does that spell
yeah.
out the boob thing? But
Or
it
like
did not.
boobies, boobless. What were
Boobless.
the other ones you
Yes.
could do on a calculator?
I mostly knew that you could
Hell.
do hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, boy, I love doing that
mhm.
one and showing it to someone, being like, "Oh,
Calculator curse words.
yeah,
Yeah,
baby."
so funny. Nephews, chime in the comments of what other words you can spell with the calculator when you flip it upside down. Um, for old time's sake, Bobby comes home pretty dejectedly, and Hank is on the porch playing Betsy. Um, Hank is like, "Hey, the working man's here. Pop a seat, have a root beer." Hands him a root beer, cracks his Alamo open. Hank's like excited to, Bobby's just had his first day of work. Hank's excited to, dish it with him, and Bobby is Hank says, "Yep," and then he's like, "You could say yep." Which I just thought was so sweet that Hank was like, "You can say
Yeah,
yep now.
you're
Like you
allowed
can
in.
you could be part of the group." But Bobby wants to quit.
Well, he
Um,
thinks that his boss might be a moron.
he thinks his boss might be a moron, and Hank is gonna immediately jump into lecturing Bobby. He does
Hank
not do
fully just gaslights Bobby here
Yeah, does not do a
for
good
like a
job of
full minute.
listening. Yeah, does some bad parenting here.
Yeah.
This is that stereotypical kind of Hank being the
Boomer,
dumbass.
it's boomerisms.
He's
A good salesman always says yes to the boss.
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I've heard like people have told me that before.
Customer is always right.
Yeah.
Always.
That nonsense.
Always right. Yeah.
No
Hank is
matter
gonna
what.
Hank is gonna lecture him, tells him, it's you're there to work, not play. That's why it's called work and not play. You
I
know,
mean, that's true.
typical
But
stuff like that. Um, yeah, always say yes to the boss. Bobby, it kind of starts to catch on, and he goes, is this like whenever you tell me about giving 110%? Which is kind of a throwback to the pilot episode a little
mm.
bit. In the car, they're talking about 110.
Oh
Well, what if I
yeah, with
give
the baseball.
111? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that connection is there, but I made a little star there of that. I thought that was fun.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, Bobby's like, is this what you mean when you're talking about giving 110%? And Hank says, if you weren't my son, I'd hug you.
Also very boomery.
Absolutely
I love it.
crushing. Won't even hug his own son. Um,
So Bobby knows how to suck up to the man now.
yes. We cut back over to the track, and yeah, Jimmy is a moron for sure. Um, that's all I have wrote down for this beginning of the scene here. I can't remember what he was doing, but he was probably being hella dumb. Um, it's Boomhauer's race day, the boys are there and they're getting all ready. Bobby's jumping in the trash can, pushing all the trash down, and Jimmy's just like telling him, "You're like, go, dude, don't worry about the bottles." Like dangerous shit, just having him jump in a dumpster full of glass.
And then Bobby
Absolutely
like meets
brutal.
up with Hank and the Alley Boys, and Hank gives him even more advice on how
Mm-hmm.
to be a doormat. Is this when he says to find the job that nobody wants?
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
do have another
Deleted!
funny add-on to this. Bobby, when Hank is like telling Bobby this horrible advice of finding the job that nobody wants and doing it, he tries to think like before that, tries to think of advice that he received from Cotton, and he's like, no, not that, no. And then he's like, anyway,
Nice. Here's something my dad told me.
yeah,
Never mind.
no, yeah,
Mm,
here's one.
never mind. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandpa has a couple of those. Had a couple of those. Um yeah, the we see the cop pull up, the cop character pull up, did you notice what his license plate was at the
Mm-mm.
racetrack? Entrap.
Which is what he did.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Um, so here at the racetrack, we're gonna get our oh no, wait, let's see. Oh, hold please. Did I fuck this up? Nope, I didn't. I didn't fuck it up yet. Don't give me the fart noise yet. We're back on track here.
I'm hovering on it.
Okay. Yeah, this is the amateur race. This is the amateur race. Bill wants to bring the car in for a pit stop.
Yeah, the boys are being the pit crew. This is when
Mhm.
Bobby's mashing down the trash,
Yes.
doing the job that no one wants.
I thought it was very funny here to see Bill be more competent than Dale, because Bill will say to Hank here, he's like, Hank, we need to like for this pit stop, like just keep Dale away from everything. And Hank
Yeah.
is going to be like, I'll do everything important. Bill, you do the windows. Dale, here, hold this bucket of sand with both hands.
And then Bill ends up being the one to fuck it up.
Yes, Bill ends up being the one to fuck it up because he can't get the spot off the window. We see him just rubbing at the window, and Hank's like, "Go, you're good." And then we see the racetrack, and Boomhauer's car is being slowed down. It's because Bill is in the back, weighing it down.
Classic. And he's just like trying to get the spot off. Very funny visual there.
Yeah, it's just a comedy of errors, so to speak, with the whole racing day.
Yeah.
Very funny, and that's where that deleted scene about saving weight could have come in handy. But
oh yeah,
it's a good punchline without that setup. I still think it works. The scene worked without that deleted setup
for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, Boomhauer comes in fourth place. We see Jimmy yelling at another kid to put on the hot dog costume, and this other kid is like, up yours. This other kid isn't gonna do it. He's like standing his ground. So Bobby is like, I'll do it, Mr. Witcher, and Mr. Witcher's like, Jimmy's like, why you always doing stuff
why do you want to
nobody
do
else
stuff nobody wants to do?
Why you want to do stuff nobody wants to do? And Bobby's like, because that's my can-do
Because I'm a little
attitude.
bitch. My dad taught me to be a huge bitch.
And Bobby is like, if I work hard enough, maybe one day I'll have your job. And Jimmy's like, you want my job?
My note here is Bobby threatens the mentally challenged guy's job. Boomhauer's dream is crushed. So Bobby puts on the hot dog costume and is like humiliated. People just like throw shit at him.
Yes, and we're in the pit crew. Yeah, Bobby puts on the hot dog suit, and Hank is bragging to the guys in the pit crew about Bobby.
Yeah.
He's like,
and his hard work ethic.
Yeah, he's like, guys, we didn't get, what we set out to do, but we didn't give up. And Bobby told me just this morning that he wanted to quit, and like,
look at him now.
look at
being
him now.
Harassed in the workplace.
Absolutely getting pelted with trash in the hot dog suit. Just sad.
You love
hot
to
dog
see it.
Bobby singing a little
hot
song
dog
to himself.
Bobby.
And that is our second commercial break, is Hot Dog Bobby. We cut back to for Act 3, and Hank is out waiting in the driveway, and Bob is
5:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my initial thought was, why is Hank up? Like, they're going to the track at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah,
they're that excited.
He's well, it's pace day. They're that excited.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to check
in. But Boomhauer isn't even racing.
He's pacing.
But he didn't rank high enough, right?
No, they'll cover it at the track. He gets to drive a different lap.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, is he wasn't in the top 3, so he doesn't get to do it unless like 3 other people fuck up. So he's heartbroken. He
is. His day is thoroughly ruined. But Bobby, one last time here at the driveway with Hank, is going to he's gonna say, like, I still don't think that Mr. Witcher's, something's not right about him. Just very dejectedly. To Hank, and Hank just really doesn't care.
Well, he says, but then I remember the 110%. And I just stopped feeling my feelings.
I
And Hank is like, "Oh yeah, sorry, the guys are here."
great, good job, Bobby.
Classic.
Um, yes, we're here at the track. The boys are admiring the pace car. Dale says it's nice, but where are the cigarette ads? Um, and then this is where we get our quick guest appearance for the
It's
episode.
actually Dale Earnhardt.
It's actual Dale Earnhardt.
Damn. Shit, that's cool.
Yes.
They got
Yes.
him, dude.
They got the man. They got the goat. They got the man in black. They got the intimidator.
He loves the soft rope.
He does love the soft rope. That was like I think my favorite thing is that Dale Earnhardt comes up and Boomhauer starts to talk to him about a race or a specific turn that I'm sure has some significance in Dale Earnhardt history, but
Sure.
Dale just makes a comment that this rope is very soft and pretty. I noticed it whenever they were unloading my car. Those are like the only words that we get from Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah. And he just says exactly what Bobby says, basically. It's so
I
good.
I love that so much, and I also love that they had at a time a huge name, and they just gave
And he
him
just comes in. Yeah. The
a couple of
Simpsons would do that
sentences.
a lot. Just give a celebrity like a one-liner.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Phone that in. Um, but yeah, Dale Earnhardt. Other fun facts. He did die racing. We covered that. He died doing what he loved.
That's a fun fact.
That's
Some other facts about him. He did die.
that's how you end all of your presentations is with people
No,
dying
it's
of this week in
not.
Arlen. So
Not all of them. I didn't this week.
no, Dale Earnhardt did pass away on the racetrack in a racing
Rest in
accident.
power.
Mhm,
Rest
at
in
the
power.
at the Daytona 500. What you say? Race hail, praise Dale. The rope is pretty. Luann and Peggy Luann and Peggy are up in the stands, and Luann is fantasizing about Jeff Gordon. She's got a sign that says Jeff rocks on it or something like that. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, we're gonna wave this sign, and then he's gonna come up here, and he's gonna be so charmed by us that he's gonna ask one of us to marry you. And
Yeah.
Peggy is like, well, it'll probably be you because I have a ring on my finger. And Luann fires back with, yeah, and big feet.
And then they immediately cut away. Like Peggy gives
So
her a
good.
look and they cut away. That
She's
was a great line.
Well, we hear a crash in the background, and Peggy says the only reason I'm ignoring that is because a man is on fire.
Yeah, that's a through line that comes up a lot. Just kind of like Peggy giving Bobby the camera and asking him to take pictures. There are like
Mm-hmm.
several deleted scenes where Peggy is like obsessed with taking pictures of crashes.
Peggy is there for the gore and the carnage.
Yeah. And there is an alternate ending that involves Peggy and taking photos and being
That's
super into the crashes.
that's so funny. Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
it earlier. I don't think we touched on it. After Peggy takes the photo of Bobby for his first day, she tells him to take photos 2 angles if there's a
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah.
So yeah, Peggy's there to rubberneck for sure. And Luann just absolutely roasted her. I loved that. Um, and I think that's our foot reference there
Yeah.
that I was
That's the
talking about
foot
earlier.
quota for the day. Yeah.
There it is. Bobby is over by the guys at pit row. He's got his little sad boy face on. He's trying to sell some sodas, and Hank's like, "Oh, perfect, Bobby. Here's some for some sodas." And the guys are making excuses of why they can't do it. They don't
Yeah.
have money.
It's got Bobby's sweat all over it.
Mhm. That was my favorite. I watched with the subtitles on. That one was very good. And then Hank's like, "They're on me," and the guys
And then
all
they
go
all
in
want
for it.
one. Yeah.
But the sodas are hot.
Yeah,
I
and
know
Bobby
this.
mentions Jimmy Pritchard, and we find out that Dale knows him
Yes. Hmm.
and does
Um,
confirm that he is a huge dickhead.
yeah, he used to be in Dale's gun club, and they say that he, scrambled his brain one day staring directly into the sun. And he's like, well, you couldn't have been too smart to do that in the first place. It's kind of a chicken egg situation.
Yeah, it's true.
That was very good.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Hank says, yeah, you got to be more efficient. Dale's like, what the fuck? Yeah, Jimmy is terrible or
Yeah, that
whatever.
guy is a fucking moron.
So then we cut to Jimmy, who had just crushes a beer, and says that you made me thirsty. Um, he sees Bobby. He sees Bobby from across the racetrack and starts to yell at him. Hey, hey, soda boy,
Timmy.
hey, go to Timmy. Yeah, Timmy. Uh, bring me a soda. And Bob's like, okay. Starts to go around the other way, and Jimmy's like, no, just cross the track. Just bring it to me. Just go whenever cars aren't going.
He's trying to
Um,
kill Bobby, I think, for trying to
he's
take his job.
he's drunk and endangering him, and yeah, probably probably doesn't like that he's threatened his job.
Yeah.
Um, but luckily Hank sees Bobby crossing in time, catches him, pulls him back, and Hank is like, "What are you doing?" And Bobby is like, I was just listening to my boss. I was doing everything that you said.
I was being a little bitch like you, Dad.
I was I was doing everything you said and did,
Yeah.
um, which really gets Hank mad. Um, Hank starts seeing red because Jimmy is yelling at him to come over, and Hank starts seeing red, and he
Yeah, we
charges
get a couple
over.
of really good bois from Hank
Hmm.
here, like in a row. He just kind of rages out.
Yeah, he rages out. He starts to cross the track, does a little Frogger.
Yeah,
Um,
I wrote that too, that he froggers.
yeah, yeah, he does a little Frogger, and Jeff Gordon has to swerve at the very end and causes Jeff Gordon to wreck and then skid
Bummer.
out.
Bummer.
Yes.
Poor Jeff.
Um, yes. Uh, yeah, poor Jeff indeed. What maybe my favorite punchline is as this crash is going down, you hear in the background, he goes, "Daddy."
I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, I watch it with subtitles.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, when the crash happens, he goes, "Daddy." Um, so funny. Yeah, Hank runs over though, and starts to pull on the fence, and Jimmy's like, "Ha, you
Yeah.
can't get me." And then Hank just like kicks out the fence.
Yeah. A
Deleted!
little deleted scene here. Jimmy continuously calls Hank Monkey Daddy here for
Whoa.
some reason. He's like taunting him and he's like, "You can't get me, Monkey Daddy." And then a bunch of the other kids that work there start throwing the containers of soda at him. And then Hank kicks in the thing and beats the shit out of him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he actually literally kicks Jimmy Witcher's ass,
Yeah,
and
several times.
and Peggy is taking photos of it.
Yep.
So good. But yeah, Boomhauer does get to drive the car here.
Happy
For
ending for
happy ending all
Boomhauer.
around. Hmm.
Bobby almost died.
We cut to the house, and you know, Hank walks into Bobby's room, and he's like, "What are you doing? Playing a video game?" Very obviously reading a book.
A video game? And
Uh,
Bobby's like, okay.
okay, and Hank's like, I want to talk to you about today, and Bobby's like, I almost died. I don't. I'd rather not talk about it. Um,
Yeah.
Bobby's just obviously very upset that he almost died, and his dad wasn't listening to him. Um, but Hank, tells him he's been working harder than anybody else this month, and everything like that. Um, says he's going to give him $100,
He says a
um,
couple of $100,
couple of hundred
which is
dollars.
crazy. Enough for that BMX bike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Bobby will just jump up and say, what the heck? How about you just get me a couple pairs of cotton short pants and call it
Yeah.
even?
He doesn't want the money. He wants to go back to being a kid
Yeah,
and having things being bought for him. And
yeah.
don't we all?
He likes it better. He liked it better when there was no money involved and you just bought everything.
Yeah. And fucking jaw feel, Bob, you know?
Bob realized that working sucks. This was a
And
hard. But that's basically the end of our episode. Is
and that his
Bobby?
dad is wrong
Yeah,
and that
once
capitalism is not the way.
prevails. Um.
Alternate ending alert
Deleted!
here.
Mm,
We get a nice little kind of like outro scene of Peggy made a scrapbook called Bobby's First Job. And it
oh,
does the thing where there's like nice music and it opens the book and it's literally all crash photos. Which I
Oh,
thought would have been, but they cut out so many, like at least like 3 or 4 instances of Peggy mentioning taking pictures of crashes.
that's
So,
so good.
yeah,
That
seems
could
like
have
they
been.
didn't rely on that as heavily, but I thought the payoff of the scrapbook was excellent.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's very good. They should have kept that in as a post credit. I feel like they could have taken some time out of the Bobby climbing the stairs montage,
It
given it
wasn't that long, man.
given it to Peggy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's the ep. It just kind of ends. Hank realizing that he should have listened to Bobby, but there's not a ton of real good resolution here at
Yeah,
the
I feel
end.
like a lot of that other stuff got cut for time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
that is the end. And I say we ought to just step right into the alley, brother.
Let's get out there.
I'm a gonna buy you a drink.
My glug sound is gone.
The glugs are gone.
Justice for the glugs, nephew.
Justice for the glugs.
I don't know where they are. I will find them next week.
Hashtag where are the glugs?
Hashtag where are the gloves?
But what the hell, boy?
How'd you feel about this episode?
Oh, I love that soundbite.
It's my new favorite one. Oh, here it is.
Justice for the
And,
glugs.
yeah. We found the glugs. Hashtag free the
Uh,
glugs.
This was a pretty good episode. It was pretty silly. It was pretty straightforward.
Quite silly. Yeah.
Yeah, not a ton going on the side. I love a ridiculous character like Jimmy.
Yeah, he was
Um,
great. Very hateable in like a good way.
yeah, definitely easy to hate. Hank plays the kind of villain, the other villain here because he, doesn't listen to Bobby,
Yeah.
doesn't take him serious. He's just trying to, teach Bobby a lesson and lecture and everything like that. So Hank was an easy villain. Jimmy was an easy villain. I like that the whole alley
Jeff
was
Gordon was an
involved.
easy villain.
Jeff Gordon still is an easy villain. We got Dale Earnhardt for literally one line about a velvet rope.
Yeah, I love that that was actually him. That is cool.
Yes, it was very funny. Some choice lines from Luann. This is a good up.
Yeah, yeah, good one-liners all around. What do you think in grade-wise? Out of
I-
6 Alamos.
I think for me, I'm gonna say 4.5.
I think I'm kind of in that range. I think I'm gonna go at a 4 this week.
Yeah, I think
Like
I'm
this
going
episode was
4.
good, but from like a story standpoint, it doesn't really like stand out a ton.
Yeah, it was very isolated, encapsulated. Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't
Actually, no, I'll go up to a 4.5 just for the image of Bobby hunched over the burrito.
Yeah, you'll come up, you'll drink my other half.
I'll up, yeah, I'll split that half with you.
There are some funny images here too. I also really liked Jimmy Witcher in the hot dog suit.
Yeah, that was good. Bobby in the hot dog suit was funny too.
The hot
And I
dog
thought
suit.
the directing of the scene of Bobby like going up the stairs in the heat was visually very nice.
Yeah, there was a lot of depth to this one.
Yeah, it was
Um,
good. Yeah, solid 4.5, I'd say.
I would have liked maybe more car hijinks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have liked some more of that Dale silliness.
Yeah, the Dale silliness was really funny. Him like bolting himself to the
Yeah.
tire. Like imagine if Boomhauer would have
It's ripped his sleeve right off.
ripped his arm right off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 4.5 for me.
All right, 4.5. Should we just jump right into the Hill King
dude.
segment,
Let's
brother?
do it. Let's crown
God
the
dang
king.
it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby.
What are you thinking? Who's the MVP of the episode? Who stands supreme in this one?
Man, this was tough.
There's a lot of options here.
There
You
are a
could go
lot
with
of
a lot of
options
folks.
here.
You could go Jimmy Witchard or whatever his name is, just because
Yep.
it's the first You could go with Peggy for
with
the
Crash.
disposable crash, but I feel
Mhm.
like that the episode would have hit harder if they kept that scene in. So that kind of
Yeah,
disqualifies Peggy for me.
I think I'm out on Peggy.
Yeah. Luann's
I
an option. She's on the table.
her two lines were really good. She
Yeah.
said he's the world's fastest Christians, and then she made fun of Peggy's feet.
Yeah. Dale
S-
Earnhardt is on the table.
Earnhardt's on the table. I think for me, this one I am going to take Boomhauer. I'm gonna I'm
Dang.
gonna I'm gonna take Boomhauer because we
He got
get
to
to
live his
see
dream.
him live his dream, and Boomhauer is always he's mostly shown and not heard quite as much.
Yeah.
And I think this was an episode where, yeah, we get to see, a dream play out for Boomhauer, but it's very much
Yeah.
in the background. Like
We
even,
learn a little bit about Boomhauer, which we haven't really gotten. We had
mhm,
the one episode where like Hank thinks that Boomhauer is hooking up with Luann.
Luann
That's like
Saga.
yeah, that's the only time that we've like seen inside Boomhauer's house or like really gotten like lore
Yes,
on our boy.
yes.
So I like that. I like that choice.
I liked even whenever his dream is unfolding, it's still like the stuff with the car. I feel like is even more about the guys and the pit crew and what's going on. It's not even really about Boomhauer. It's more about
Yeah.
like the guys in the pit crew. So I
Yeah.
liked that it was like, yeah, he was in the background. It's Boomhauer for me.
Cool. Uh I feel like I don't really have any choice but to go with Bobby, but I'm specifically going with Burrito Bobby.
Burrito Bobby.
And genuinely, if I do get a King of the Hill tattoo, that might be it. That might be in the front running for my ass.
I did like in that joke that like you knew that right as soon as Hank was like, "Here's your dollar. Let's see what you
Yeah.
do with it." You knew you were like, "Well, the next scene is going to be Bobby fucking up with the
Yeah,
dollar,"
being
and then it's
something dumb, doing
yeah,
something dumb with the dollar. Yeah, it's
mhm,
perfect. And
yeah.
that joke was perfect. And the imagery of him hunched over a burrito. Why was he eating it on the like front step, man?
That was my question: is why was he outside? He couldn't even wait to get
Go into like
inside.
your room or like the backyard or what are you doing, man?
And then even in that scene, Hank scares him, and he's like, "You almost made me drop my burrito."
Yeah. And also a quesadilla for $1. Like my
The
man knows how to
value,
spot a deal when he sees one.
the
I
value,
appreciate that as well. So, yep,
so
it's
good.
Bob for me
Nice.
all the way. Well, that I think just about
It's a
does it
good one.
for that
Yeah.
segment and for this episode of the show. What do we got next
Dude,
week? Family. We're
next
almost at the
next
end.
we're almost at the end. Next week is the penultimate episode. It's Peggy's
Mm.
turtle song. I believe we're gonna have a guest. Yes.
Yes, believe it or not, nephews, we have recorded that episode already in the future. That's the first time we've ever done that. And it feels a little weird to me, but we did record it already and it is a banger.
Scheduling was weird, bruv.
And we do have a very special guest next week. So
Oh
who's it gonna be?
my gosh, continuity error. I don't have my haircut in that episode.
Shit.
I have a
Wow.
haircut
And
now,
he's
and I
bald
don't. Oh
now.
my god, continuity.
He's
Put it in our
completely
lore. Yeah.
bald except for a mustache, not even
Mhm.
eyebrows. He plucked
They're
his
all gone.
eyelashes, nephews. Come over here on YouTube to
Hmm.
see that.
And
Obviously, give us a to see
to, to see if or if not, Brad is wearing a hat.
or pants.
He did reveal.
Yeah, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Obviously, do the same on Apple and Spotify if you listen there. We appreciate
Hmm.
you as well. There's
Hmm.
just about as many audio listeners as there are, if not more, audio
Ooh,
listeners. So we
different. That's
appreciate y'all. It'd be cool if you reviewed us on there too.
ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You
and
can also,
subscribe.
if you are an audio listener, go over to our Instagram at Hill Kings Pod. You can see the beautiful slides that I make for
Hmm.
this week in Arlen. And obviously come back next week
Yeah.
to see our esteemed guest and talk about
Yes.
Peggy's Turtle Song. It was a great episode.
Mhm.
So
And visit your zoo, your local zoo.
visit your local zoo, go see an
Mhm.
ostrich, listen to the ambiance music that
Mhm.
they're playing
Go see a
from the
Red River.
ground.
Go see a Red River hog.
Go show a man your penis
Go tell a
at the
go
zoo.
tell a go tell a strange man to look at the hog.
To look at your hog at the zoo.
It wasn't my hog, it was the hog.
But what the hell,
Yeah.
boy?
It sounds so good in the headphones.
love
It's
it.
just
Hill Kings Podcast.
Cool.